Hello everybody, my name is Ostentatious24 and welcome back to another Pokemon OAT version. BMP, yes, those are the initials. Bond Mega Primal episode. I'm going to make this as quickly as possible. I'm just going to include the pictures. For the Megas, I used, I think, existing abilities. I try my best to be as quick as possible, but then I want to get into the descriptions of everything. So I'm just going to cut all that out of the way. If you want to hear me get into the actual descriptions of my thought process with creating the Pokemon, I can make a separate video for that in the future. But for now, I just figured, especially with it being the final week before the release of ZA, I should get my Johto starters out and about. The bonded mega forms of them. So yeah, I'll show off the pictures, my ideas for the pre-evolutions, because as I said in the previous ones, the Kanto ones, especially the Bulbasaur and Squirtle one, I think all Pokemon should be capable of Bond evolution, but they get a significant ability, significant move boost, and actual physical form change like Bond Greninja if they are fully evolved. But early evolutions, Cyndaquil, Pikachu, they still get some benefits. And then slight alterations like with the grass starters, I'm thinking they're based off their color palette is based off your favorite season, summer, winter, all that stuff. Just their color, like their types don't change based on that. And then with Squirtle, it was the shell or the skin color. I don't know. Both are kind of cool in their own right. I don't know which one I'd go with. The shell's simple and it works, but I also like that the other one's more distinguished with certain colors. But yeah, maybe the same with Totodile. I still don't know what I'd do with fire starters. So we'll show that off here with Cyndaquil and Quilava. All that stuff. All that things. Here are their mega... yeah, I'm just going to include screenshots of their mega forms with their specific typings and abilities and the name of their mega stones, as well as the bond forms. And then for the megas, I stuck with existing abilities. I will get into slight descriptions here. I stuck with existing abilities, and with Feraligatr, I knew from like years ago I wanted it. The moment Tyrantrum came out, I was like, this needs to be on a crocodilian Pokemon, which is why I made Feraligatr water dark type. Otherwise, with how I made it, honestly, it could look like it's a water steel type. I didn't mean for it to. And then the claws on its hands, they're like kind of like Wolverine claws. It's supposed to be like brass knuckles kind of stuff. But they're also kind of retractable into that little sleeve scale thing. That I thought that might be a cool idea. And then I gave it more teeth, more spikes on its spine, and various other elements. With Typhlosion, I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know what... I knew what type I wanted to give Meganium to. That was pretty basic, pretty simple, pretty... an easy decision to make. Typhlosion, it's just perfect the way it is. I don't know what I would give to it as a typing. Especially if you want to double down on its being one of the few Pokemon that can learn Burnout, which completely loses its fire typing, which is the direction I went with this. I made it just full down fire type. It's all fire type. Unless it uses Burnout, then it's no type. It's typeless. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I thought fighting type would make sense. As much as that would annoy a lot of people, me included, because I love Typhlosion, is like, oh, freaking, really, another firefighting starter? God damn it. But at the same time, there's not many other types that seem like it'd fit it well. I mean, Rock and Ground being a volcano Pokemon would make sense, but then it has too many weaknesses. If it's got Ground or Rock, it's got the addition of Water weaknesses. If it's Rock, it's also weak to Fighting and double weak to Ground. Both Fire, Rock, and Fire Ground are double weak to Water. There's so many weaknesses on that type combo, and I feel like it'd just be a detriment to Typhlosion. But at the same time, you don't want a Fire Fighting type. Maybe Fire Dark, but then it's sharing that typing with a fellow Johto Pokemon, Houndoom. So it's like, maybe I just stick with Fire type. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Heck, I could make a Mega Typhlosion X if people want to see that. I can make a second one for the fun of it. And then, a quick brief thing on the bond forms. I thought it would be a fun and cool idea if we mixed their typings. And I got this idea especially from the Unova starters and the whole idea of the pledge moves. I was like, let's crack down and actually give them dual starter types. So there isn't inherently many differences because of this, physically at least. They just get a little color palette swap, which seems kind of lazy, but I thought it also kind of works, especially on the Johto stars, because they're kind of simple as it is. I thought it was just, color-wise, it works. So, yes. To that end, Meganium becomes a Wildfire. It's Grass and Fire type, and that's its ability. Boom. I'll pop them in at the end. My fan-made abilities. And then Steam Bath is Typhlosion's because it's a Steam Pokemon. It's Fire-Water type. And then Bond for Alligator is Water Grass. This was another good idea, I thought. There were like 3 types I saw fitting with Feraligatr. I see a lot of people I've seen for years since freaking X and Y with, let's see Mega Johto starters. And give Feraligatr Dragon type. I'm like, I don't like the idea of that. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't work in my opinion. It just seems weird to make a crocodile into a dragon, but whatever. So yeah, that's what. And then on top of the Strong Jaws existing, that would make Crunch so goddamn. My apologies. Arceus damn strong. Holy crap! It would be so powerful. 50% increase from Strong Jaws, and then what is stab damage 1.5. It would be a monstrous attack move. And then if you gave it Vicious Rend that now exists, I mean it's not a fish, but that's a new water biting move. That, oh my god, Feraligatr would slap the crap out of everyone. That'd be crazy. Otherwise Tough Claws could make sense. But yeah, besides that, I thought that the best typing for Feraligatr being a crocodile alligator is probably grass or ground, because swampy, right? Either water ground because it's muddy, it's all swampy and stuff, but then it's a little doubling up with swamp right there. Granted, water ground's super powerful as a type combo. Its only weakness is grass, even if that's a double weakness. It's pretty good that it only has one weakness. But then also, it seems weird to give a starter water and grass, because then you're doubling up on the starter types. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. That won't make sense, right? Right? And then at the same time, swamplands kind of also have a lot of, plant growth. So I was like, I'm thinking about this like years ago, too, back before I started this project. I'm like, I don't know how I'd handle this. This is how I'd handle this! Make all 3 of them have different types, and especially because it's like Mega Evolution, then they wouldn't be able to learn their other starter signature moves. Like Typhlosion can't learn Hydro Cannon then, and Meganium can't learn Blast Burn, and Feraligatr can't learn Frenzy Blast, because that'd be a little silly. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun little idea and gimmick, like making the Johto starters share their fellow starter typings with each other. And then it also creates that dynamic of They each have an advantage over the other, which, and I explained this in one of my, in my initial Pokemon video, when I was talking about my actual starters for my own fan-made region, Wapiti, Sizzlor, and Shota. I can never remember which one it is, if it's ends in an A or an O. But yeah, I love the idea that hasn't been explored since the Sinnoh starters of each type having a weakness against the other. Like, with the Kalos starters, they double up on their weaknesses. Greninja's Water Dark, which beats Fire Psychic, which beats Grass Fighting, which beats Water Dark. And that's a little lame. But with Empoleon, Torterra, and Infernape, Grass beats Water, but not really because of the Steel typing. But Ground beats Steel type. Water beats Fire, but Fighting beats Steel. Fire beats Grass, but Ground beats Fire. Oh, but at the same time, Torterra's got a little too many weaknesses. And then Empoleon, all water types, unless they're gimmicky like Magikarp, can learn freaking ice moves. Torterra, my poor boy, I love him so much, but he's so bad. So yeah, with a lot of my fan-made Pokemon starters, I wanted that dynamic of having a type that would be effective against each other. And I think this dynamic of all three Johto starters having that balance, it really balances them out. It's perfect. Even though, I mean, they probably negate each other's weaknesses. I haven't looked at the actual type chart. Like, if, I don't know, does grass resist water? Does fire... I think fire resists grass and water resists fire, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. That was the idea behind the bond forms, at least. And yeah, here there's Wildfire, Steam Bath, Swamp Surge, and then the idea of the pledges again. And even then, I feel like the pledges could get revamped and made into actual field effects, you know, like rain and sunny day and all that stuff. I thought they could be actually revamped a little bit and do a little more effects on the field. Combined weather effects, basically, or terrains. Weather and terrain combinations and all that stuff. So yeah, that was the idea behind these... Excuse me. Little burpee. That was the idea behind these Bond and Mega Johto starters. I probably would include them in OAT. And I have the list for all the typings for all my starters. For all the starters. Up through... I have not done the Scarlet and Violet ones yet. But yes, up through Rillaboom, Cinderace, and Inteleon. I have Bond forms and Mega forms planned for all of them. But I don't think I want to drop them all in my first fan-made region. So I might hold off on Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert till my second fan game. We'll see. If people want me to, I could include them, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's about it. I didn't mean to go into that much detail. Hopefully I didn't waste too much time, but I think that's about it. Oh, right, I haven't thought of good... Right, because I've been making upgraded moves for Bond Pokemon. I don't know what they are as of now, but here, boom, they'll be at the end of the video, I guess. So, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it was fast enough, on beat, on quick, go, and I didn't waste too much time, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the artistic liberties and values or whatever I took with these starters. Hopefully you like them. I did the best I could. And I hope I hope especially the Bond ones don't seem too lazy. I wanted that kind of thing. I thought making their palette swaps was honestly probably the best way to go about the whole type thing. I will say I have explored this more in other starters. And I did go a little farther. A little farther. God, I cut the H out of the... Oh my God, the Freudian slip. I went a little farther in the art procedure process with the other ones that I've attempted similar things with. So, I've explored it a little more. I've finished those arts, and then I might explore it again. We'll see. But yeah, anyways, that's all for now. Just the Johto starters. That's about it. I don't think there's other Johto starters. Well, you could count Togepi, I guess. I haven't even dabbled in Togepi. But that does give me an idea. Maybe I should explore Togepi as an option for Bond, Mega, or Primal forms. That might be interesting. But that is all for now. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and or evening. And until next time, whatever it is I may do, I hope to see you then. Farewell!